For the first time in more than 60 years of World Cup football, a red card suspension got put on ice. Not overturned by a referee, not appealed by a club, but after a phone call from the President of the United States. Let's rewind to July 1st, the round of 32, where the United States, co-hosting this World Cup, took on Bosnia and Herzegovina, and their striker Folarin Balogun, 25 years old, actually opened the scoring in a 2-0 win. But in the second half, everything changed, because Balogun and Bosnian defender Tarik Muharemovic went up for a ball, got tangled, and Balogun came down on the defender's ankle. Here's the key detail. The referee on the pitch initially waved it away, no foul, play on. But then the video assistant referee stepped in, pulled up the slow-motion replay and the freeze frames, and on VAR's recommendation, Balogun was shown a straight red, which at the World Cup comes with an automatic one-game suspension. No appeal, meaning he'd missed the biggest game of the tournament so far, the round of 16 against Belgium. Balogun himself was total class about it, saying the contact was unintentional, but that he accepted the referee's decision, while his teammate Christian Pulisic called the red card extremely harsh. And that was that, or so everyone thought, because behind the scenes, a phone was ringing. On Thursday, President Donald Trump picked up the phone and called FIFA President Gianni Infantino directly to talk about that red card. And he later confirmed it himself, with a very on-brand explanation, saying, "I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul." And then the line that went viral, "I didn't know what the hell a red card was," adding that he saw it as two great athletes who crashed into each other and got entangled. And then, on Sunday, in an extremely unusual move, FIFA's disciplinary committee announced it would not enforce the suspension. And this is the important nuance. They did not overturn the red card itself instead. Under Article 27 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code, they suspended the implementation of the ban and put it on a 1-year probation. So in plain English, the card stands, but the punishment is frozen. FIFA called it a much more balanced measure, and the president took a victory lap immediately, posting, "Thank you to FIFA for doing what was right and reversing a great injustice." And that is when the football world lost its mind. Belgium, the actual opponent, said they were astonished and that they were investigating all potential options. And then UEFA dropped the hammer, saying FIFA had crossed a red line and calling the decision unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable. FIFA didn't walk away clean either. They fined the U.S. Soccer Federation $40,000, but the ban itself was gone. And when Belgium tried to formally challenge it, FIFA's appeal committee threw the appeal out as inadmissible, arguing Belgium had no standing. And then the wildest detail. According to a Belgian source, in FIFA's standard pre-match briefing to the Belgian team, one slide had quietly gone missing. The slide explaining the automatic one-game suspension for red cards, just removed. And if you think this is a one-off, it isn't, because FIFA had already raised eyebrows at this tournament by letting Cristiano Ronaldo play, despite a 3-game suspension of his own. So here's where it gets interesting, because not everyone was outraged. Some commentators, including the hosts over at Breaking Points, basically stood up and cheered, and their argument is more clever than it sounds. International soccer politics has always been a game of leverage, favors, and backroom influence. So when American officials pick up the phone and lean on FIFA, they're not breaking the game. They're finally learning to play it. And every other major football nation would do exactly the same thing if they had the power to make that call. America just actually used it. There's a second thread to that argument a lot of fans quietly agree with too, the officiating, because the whole red card came from super slow-motion replay, and when you slow any physical collision down frame by frame, an accidental tangle can suddenly look brutal and intentional, when at full speed it's just two athletes going for a ball. Not everyone in the U.S. camp was comfortable, though. Head coach Mauricio Pochettino was asked point-blank whether politicians should be lobbying FIFA over match decisions, and his answer was blunt. We cannot mix that. And now, the twist that makes this whole saga almost poetic. After the phone call, after Article 27, after the fine, the outrage, the missing slide, and the international incident, the United States lost to Belgium 4-1. Eliminated. Knocked out of their own World Cup. All that leverage and political capital spent to get their striker on the pitch, and they crashed out anyway. The one person who came out of this with his reputation enhanced was Balogun himself, who handled it all with grace, shook the referee's hand, and talked about setting an example for the kids watching. The player was the adult in the room the entire time. So here's what I'll leave you with. Was this corruption? A president bending a global tournament to his will? Or was it just America finally playing the same game everyone else has been playing for decades? Drop it in the comments, and if you want the politics behind the football that mainstream sports channels won't touch, hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.